Welcome to Amberg Acres. So for those of you that are a skeptic of the grass only or the grass out product that I've been using out here, I just wanted to show you this. I did my own little test. So this side over here I sprayed a couple weeks ago with the grass only, and well, you can see it pretty much killed all the grass. This side here I left the way it was, and you can see the grass is still standing. So the product does work, but as you can see, there's still the milkweeds and that type of stuff growing out there. That still is going to be there. That grass only kills the grass, the bladed grass, and you can see it's all brown there. And I'll come back again and I'll hit this again. I'm going to spray this side here now today and finish this up so that this all gets killed. But it really does work. It really does help clean up your clover plot. And let's just go look over here and look at the clover. So this area here was really heavy with grass, and you can see that there's still some green grass in there, and it's going to keep growing, but it killed a lot of it. So I'm going to respray it, and I'm going to spray this other section, but you can see all the clover is coming up now in between. And the young clover, let me show you a patch of the young clover. The young clover, you can see it all coming up in here. This is all the stuff that I seeded this spring. All right, so this is all coming up, and this will thicken up now. Once you get rid of these weeds and this grass, this stuff will thicken up during the summer here, and it'll look pretty good. I probably should fertilize it, but right now I'm just worried about getting the grass sprayed. Now for these other weeds I tried, it's called spectricide. It's like the stuff for dandelions, okay? And I came out and I hit some of these dandelions, and it did some damage to them, but I probably didn't spray it enough. You know, I probably should have did a little heavier spray. These are big dandelions out here. These are huge compared to what you have in your yard. So it did do some damage to the dandelions. As you can see on this side here, you know, you don't see a whole lot of dandelions, but yet over here where I did not spray, there's quite a few dandelions still growing, along with all this other stuff. And I don't know what some of this stuff is. I know these are milkweeds, okay? You want to get rid of them when they're young before they go to seed. You want to spray them with something. And you can use Roundup if you spot spray. If you just come out and just spray that plant and don't get it all over everything else, you can use Roundup. But you got to be careful with the Roundup, because it'll kill anything it touches that's green. Here's some more milkweeds. And then this other stuff here, I don't know what this is, what this plant is. This stuff is hard to kill. I get it in my other plat over here too. I get that same weed. It gets like that little white, see them little white flowers up there? Whatever that is, that stuff is really hard to kill. I don't know what it is, what the plant is, but it is really hard to kill. So you can see here, you know, I missed a few spots and whatever, but I'm gonna come and spray the rest of this grass now. I mean, you can see how tall the grass is there. That's what it looks like if you don't spray it. Once we get a handle on some of these weeds, this will look better. Let's go over and look at food plot number 1 over here, and it looks completely different than this one. All right, so this is food plot 1, and you can see the difference. There's no grass growing out here. Now, I did not spray this with grass only. I came and hit the dandelions and some of this other stuff with that spectricide, the dandelion killers, the spray you buy at the store, you know. and it's just for weeds. It's supposed to be for weeds in your lawn. So I came and just spot sprayed all of the big weeds and stuff, and it did pretty good. It looks pretty good. This is all the new clover I planted. This is all new coming up here. You can really kind of tell the difference because the leaves are way smaller than the older stuff. Like right up here in the middle is the older stuff. You know, you can really tell the difference right now, which is the old and which is the new. But this field is looking pretty good. It will fill in as long as we keep getting rain, and I'll come over and hit it with some fertilizer. This will fill in, and it'll look pretty nice. You know, I'll give it another couple weeks. Let's say by the 1st of July, let's get over here and look at it again. You know, and I think it'll look much better at that point. I'm always amazed at how nothing grows here under that grapevine. You know, I don't have a camera set up on this one. I do have a camera on the other one down there, but they must be in here all the time that's not growing. You know, there was nothing sprayed there. That's just the way it is. From the deer walking around that grapevine, you know. So this is one of my hybrid oaks that I planted. That's a white oak. And it's doing really well. It looks really good. Some of my chestnuts down the way here have died. I have a few that are growing yet. This is a chestnut. Now, one thing I learned about the chestnut, it seems like the ones that are on that side of the field where they get more sun are doing better than the ones on this side of the field. These are shaded most of the day because there's a woods behind me. So they're not doing so well. They don't do as well over here on this side. And I'll take you over there on the other side and show you what that looks like, what those are looking like over there. This is another white oak. They're looking real healthy. They're looking real good. Here's a chestnut that died. This was a pretty good sized tree already, but something killed it. I mean, it just didn't come back, you know. And then another one of the hybrid white oaks. These actually grow pretty good. These hybrid white oaks. These are from, oh, what's the name of the company? If I think of it, I'll put a little note here on the bottom of the video, what the company is I bought these from. But the white oaks all grew very well. They grew pretty good. I have quite a few of them now that are 10 feet tall or so, of the first ones that I planted. And there's another chestnut. It's got something on the leaves there, not sure what that is. Again, it's in the shade, so it's not doing as well as the other side over here. So let's take a walk over to the other side. So here's a chestnut, an oak, another chestnut. Now you can see the difference. These were planted about the same time as the ones over there. And it's doing way better over here on this side of the field. Another chestnut. They seem to grow kind of bushy, you know. I don't know if I should go in there and trim some of that off or not. I'm afraid to, because I'm afraid I'm going to kill it if I start trimming it. But they get kind of bushy right away. And I don't know if that's because the deer nibbled on them or if it's just the way they grow from the start. Now this one here, I ain't sure what's going on. It's got full leaves down here on the bottom, and then up here it's got these weird looking leaves. I don't know, again, I don't know why it's like that. And then these here are my three biggest trees right up here. So that's white oak, chestnut, and another white oak up on the corner. That chestnut right there, that was a beautiful looking tree, and the deer just clobbered it a few years ago. I think it was about 2 years ago. They just hammered it because it was growing out of the cage like it is now again, and they just hammered it during the winter, and there was hardly nothing left, and now it's growing back into this big bush. And I really need to come out here and do something with the cage and get the cage off of it so it can spread out and grow. But I don't know if you can see in there, if you can see the There was the main trunk. Right there was the main trunk, and I snipped it off because they had damaged it so bad it wasn't growing, and it kind of regrew out of the bottom. All of these new shoots are coming out of the bottom now. So it's still healthy, it's still alive. So I'm just gonna let it grow just the way it is. And then this is my last white oak here. Another one that's doing really well. And the cage is getting a little small on this one. And I don't know, I really don't know if I should take the cage off, because I got a feeling if I do, they're just gonna clobber it, you know? So we'll maybe leave it on for another year and see what it looks like next year. So as far as the beans go, the beans, well, they're growing. I mean, you can see them here, they're growing. But they're a little iffy in some spots. And I gotta get out here and I gotta spray all of this. And I gotta fertilize it. And we'll see what it looks like in a couple weeks, I guess, once I get this done. I've been so busy on the barn, I've kind of neglected this food plot, and I just haven't gotten it done. I just haven't gotten to it. So one other thing I've been working on here in my spare time is this tank sprayer. So this is the County Line brand, sold at Tractor Supply, and it seems to work fine. It comes with just the handheld sprayer, the spot sprayer they call it. So what I did was I took the spot sprayer off and I made my own boom here on the bottom, my spray boom. So it really doesn't work, because what I didn't realize is that those nozzles are too big for this pump. Okay, so you have to know what the pump puts out. So the pump puts out 1 gallon per minute. So that's something I made a mistake there. I did not know that when I bought these nozzles. I bought these nozzles off of Amazon, and they do not tell you on Amazon what they put, what they're rated for gallons per minute for the nozzles. So you need to take that into consideration if you're going to try something like this. And I will go back and I will do a video later on of this in action if I actually can get it to work. So I'm still waiting for the nozzles to come. I had to order them from a special site. So now down on this, this would be the south end of the field. This is where I've been dumping all that sawdust from over the winter. I dumped in here, and it actually looks like the beans are doing a little better down on this end. That does work. It's organic matter that grows, gets in the soil and composts, and that will help your soil if you're sawing wood and you have sawdust, and you can see over here it's doing really well. The beans are coming up really good in this area, and this whole south area here was mostly sand last year, so that's why I dumped the sawdust in here to try and get some organic matter in the earth. And it definitely looks like they're doing better down here than they were up on the other end. So an update on the bird situation. Leonard is definitely gone. He has not been around, but there is another bird here now in his spot, and he flies at me or over me when I'm driving the four-wheeler around, and then he stands off in the distance, and he won't come by me like Leonard did. So I don't know if down the road here he'll warm up to me. I haven't been out here doing a lot of work in the field, so I don't know, you know, if he'll come out here and spend time with me or not. But that's how it started with Leonard. He'd just kind of follow me around and stay off in the distance, and then he eventually warmed up to me and came right up to me. But we'll see. We'll see if it happens or not. I don't know. But there is another bird that's kind of taking his place here back here in this area. So this area here is right behind the Pablo stand. I haven't planted nothing in here. It's really wet because we've had a lot of rain. But I did take down those other couple of trees that were in here, and I showed you this last year, and I didn't really finish it last year. So I didn't do nothing with it. So hopefully I can get out here now this summer sometime with the plow and work this up here and make a little circle of something in here. We'll see. It all depends on how much time I have. But that's the plan. We're just gonna work this up. So one of the other things I've been doing is all the branches we've been cutting up in the yard, and all the branches that I'm not making into firewood or whatever, or they're half rotten or whatever. I'm bringing them back here and I'm piling them up along this. This is my trail that goes up to the Pablo stand here. And then this section here is the section that before I had this shoulder surgery, I came in here and I cut this all and dropped all these trees to get some new regenerated growth and whatever, and make a thicker area for the deer to bed in. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing my branches down here and I'm just piling them up along the corridor here. So if I'm walking out here, you know, all these branches will be like a wall, you know, just to deter that the deer can't necessarily see me. And I know they're not that high right now, but I keep piling them up just like I did around the field. And then that'll control the deer that they can't just walk out. They have to use the pathways. There's a pathway right over here. You can kind of see it right where that tree, right here where this tree is falling down. There's a pathway right here going back into there. And they have to start using those pathways once I have this built up here. And they can't just walk freely anywhere. So that's one of the things I've been doing, and that's a slow process. I just, whenever I have the grapple on and I'm coming back this way, I grab a pile of branches. I have them all staged up by the road up there. So I just grab a pile of branches and I bring them back and I'm piling them up. It's one way for me to get rid of my branches without having to burn them or anything. And it's making a little, you know, a little wall here, a little, I don't know what you want to call it. So I plan on continuing it all the way down here. That'll take years for me to finish anything like that, but that's what I'm doing there. This here is some more debris I carried back here and put here as a deterrent. This is a stump that was next to the house up there. Actually, it was next to the garage. I had it cut down. Oh, I bet you it's 10 years ago I had it cut down and the stump was still there. I had to cut that stump into 4 pieces to get it out of there. I couldn't lift it. I couldn't break it out. So I had to cut it into four pieces. Obviously I wrecked a chainsaw blade doing it, but we got it out. It took 4 hours, over 4 hours, to get that stump out of the hole. And I brought it back here and just stacked it up along with this other dead stuff. And that's part of that same thing, the deterrent all the way along this trail here that I'm walking on. That if the deer are in there, they don't necessarily see me out here, you know. I don't know how well you're going to see these on the camera, but these are red osier dogwood that I rescued out of the forest. The county comes along and just cuts alongside the roads, and they chop these all down, and then they grow back and they get little fresh stalks, and I cut them at about, I don't know, 12 to 16 inches long, and then I just dig out, you know, hammer a hole in there with a piece of metal, and then I just stick them in there. And this is a wet area back here, so they're doing good. They're all blossomed. I planted a bunch of them here. That one looks like it might be drying up right there, but that one's nice and green yet. These ones up in front here are green. So this is always wet down in here, and so that was a good place to plant them. So hopefully I get some red osier dogwood here now established down here too. And then once these start growing, I can trim these and move them and add more into the woods and stuff, and into the areas here where it's wet. So this area here, right here where I'm at, this is always underwater. So I filled in my trail a little bit here. You can see all the fresh sand here that I brought down. I filled this all in to get the trail up a little higher. And then this here, especially in spring, and there's been a few summers, not recently, but a few summers where this was so wet down here I couldn't even drive down here. This was just underwater. So what I did is I kind of made a channel here. I kind of cut a channel through here, and it's probably can't see it on the camera, but this tapers off down into a hole here that I made. And you can see the bottom of the hole is wet because we had a lot of rain here in the last couple weeks. But the water's going to run, instead of sitting on my trail, instead of burying my trail in water, the water's going to run down this channel here and into that hole. And it's probably not going to hold it because it's all sand around here. So I don't know, you know, how much it's going to hold the water. But at least it gets the water off of my trail so that I can still drive on my trails to get the work done out here. But what I've been doing in here, I cleared out a few trees. back before I was a YouTuber, before I was making YouTube videos, this area here, this whole section here, we had logged. And I'm gonna say that's 15, almost 20 years ago that we had that logged. So this was all cleared out in here. There was nothing in here, okay? And my tree stand used to be right back over here. And when this grew up, you know, the young trees, the deer were in here like crazy. They were in here every day. Every time I sat out here, I'd see how many deer come through here eating on this stuff. I didn't do nothing with it. I just left it go, and this is what it ended up being. These white pines grow really fast, you know, and some of these other trees like that spruce was probably there already, but this stuff grows so fast, it just filled this in, you know, real quickly. So it's pretty thick here now. So what I've been doing is I've been coming back in here, and I've been trying to cut down all these little, you know, the, I don't know, 2-inch probably diameter, and I've been leaving the bigger ones that are here, you know, all the bigger trees I've been leaving, but trying to cut all these little ones and get this back to the way it was. And then I want to just like plant, you know, plant something in here like rye grain or something, just like a grass, not a food plot necessarily, but just like grass, because the other food plot is right up that way, up the hill there. And just plant some grass, and if we have some water, you know, it would be a little like a staging area before they head up into the field, you know, at night. And maybe I would put another tree stand down here somewhere, you know, once this gets established. But I'm still working on it. You can see the piles of dirt here, and I gotta spread that around and cover some of these rocks and you know, smooth it all out and clean it up some more. I was doing it this spring. I was working on it, and I really didn't video any of it, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to clean it up. You can see I piled a lot of the branches. I cut down a big white pine there back in winter, and that's what all them branches are from. So I just piled them up there for now, and those might make their way. I might start grabbing from them and taking them over there where I was piling them other ones. I don't know, or I might leave them there, you know. So we'll keep you posted on this. Well, you know, you'll see it in later videos what this turns out to be down here. But I just want to get this, I want to get this back and cleaned up so I can come in here with a mower maybe and mow it and just leave it a grassy area, you know. And that's my attempt right now. A few years ago, I don't know, last year, 2 years ago, you can see some of the green posts over here. I planted some more white oaks. They weren't the hybrids. They were just regular white oaks from the county, or from the county, I believe they came from. They were just little twigs, and you can see it right here. This is the white oak. Got something else growing in there, but they're growing. And I planted them around this. I basically planted them around this circle here. There's some over there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it's all kind of it's all a transition I'm doing. I'm trying to make this like, you know, I want this to look like a county park when I'm done with it down in here. Give the deer plenty of food to eat, that they can come and go wherever they want, you know, and they want to stay here. Here's another oak right in there in that basket. We don't have any white oaks around here, and I don't know why. There probably are out in the national forest somewhere. So we have red oaks. This is a red oak. Red oak has the pointy leaves, okay, and then the ones in the baskets are white oaks. The white oaks will have a lobe, more like a lobe on the leaf when they get bigger, and these are mixed with something. They're a white oak mixed with a swamp white oak, because the swamp white oak grows faster, I believe. And I believe that's why they mixed the two together. But it still gives it the sweet acorn. So I will probably never see the benefit of these oaks. That's what habitat improvement is going out in your woods and putting in trees that aren't there, you know, that are beneficial to the wildlife. Now, like I've said in the past, these are all white pines in here. This is all white pines. they're great, you know, they're nice trees, but I don't know what kind of benefit the white pine really has for the deer, except that there is some cover value to them when they're smaller. Once they get big like this, there's really no cover value for them, and nothing grows underneath really, except more white pines, it seems, you know. Another thing I've been doing is I've been maintaining some, I call them corridors. So this winds around and goes all the way up to the big field up there. I don't have nothing planted in the big field. I leave it grass, basically natural. So I have one there, cut that way, and then right up this way I have another one that I cut going the other way over into the neighbor's property. So here's another corridor I cut, and I cut them wide enough that I can drive my mower through there and once or twice a year go through and cut so they don't get so overgrown. The reason I put it right here is because that was a main trail coming out of the neighbor's property down that way, about 100 yards down that way, and it was a main trail, so that's where I started it, and I came through until I met this other trail, and they're using it. There's plenty of tracks on it. So I also widened out my, I'll call it a driveway. This is where I brought the logs in earlier in spring that I cut at that guy's property. I widened this out so I can get through here with my truck better. And then I went all the way up, and this other part was already there. So what I want to do is I want to widen that up a little more all the way up to the field up there, so that I can come in and just drive in, go up, turn around in the field, and then drive back out. You know, is what I'm expecting to do. And I got a lot of smoothing out to do here. I just kind of roughed it in, and then I got busy on the barn and I haven't done nothing with it. But I got to get down here with my blade and smooth this all out and try and make it look nice again. Here's another corridor I cut, and I just wind through. I don't really cut any trees when I make these. I just try and find the open path, and I cut them, and this goes up the hill and over where I was getting all that sand from for the barn over there. This kind of goes up there and goes through the front part of the property, and they follow it. That's how they're getting back and forth. So this section of this driveway I did many years ago. I came in, I planted all these spruce trees along the sides of it here. You know, I've kept it mowed over the years so that it stays nice like this, and that has been maintained. It looks really nice, and that's the way I want to make the rest of this here, you know, all the way down here. Clean this up, but get the grass growing, keep it mowed, you know, and then I have a nice driveway to come up here, turn around up there in the field, and then come back down. So now this section here, I might have to take a couple trees. I don't know. Right now I can fit through with the truck and the trailer, but this one here has kind of been a nuisance for quite a while. So I'm thinking that would be the easy. It's a cherry and a pine and a white pine. The white pine is nothing. The cherry's a nice tree, but it's all twisted. It's not very straight. So you would never make boards out of it or nothing. It would just be firewood anyhow. So I'm thinking those two might have to get them out of there to widen this out a little bit so I can drive out here. Then there's a couple at the end there that either could probably just be pruned up. So yeah, up here at the end here, these, if I just prune them up, that would widen that up, and then I can go out in the field and just take and make a circle and come right back. So this is the other end of that corridor I showed you from where I was at before. It comes all the way up the hill here and then continues over into the neighboring property, and this is a pattern that the deer are using now. They're following these trails back and forth through the property here. This is my firewood pile for next year. These are all trees that were in my way. Some of them were just dead and I just pushed them over. There was one right here. You can see the hole there. It was dead. So I just pushed it over with the tractor and threw it on the pile here. I'll get them, maybe this fall I'll get this all cut up, stacked up in firewood piles. And now we're back to the food plot. So I just wanted to share with you today, you know, what I've been doing here. I get questions once in a while, not necessarily on YouTube, but from friends and stuff, you know, what's going on with the food plot, and you know, what have I done, you know, are the beans growing, you know, and stuff like that. So I just wanted to put this out there just to show you what's going on. I've really been neglecting the food plots this year. I haven't been doing much over here because we've been working on the barn. The barn is done now. It's pretty much sided. Everything's done that needs to be done at this moment, except for garage doors. I got to put some garage doors in yet. Once those are done, that can sit for a while until we do the next phase of that project there. I will be doing some landscaping over there, so maybe I'll make a video of what I did once I'm done with the landscaping. But we'll see. We'll see how much time I have this summer. So if you like these videos, you know, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.